Russian army soldiers have released footage showing the difficulty of moving along a road under the control of Ukrainian drones. As seen in the footage shared on Telegram channels, the invaders attempting to move along the road, where destroyed military equipment is present, became targets of Ukrainian drones. Russian soldiers exiting their military vehicles tried to shoot down the drones. One of the drones fell and exploded near the soldiers. Realizing that advancing was too dangerous, the invaders were forced to wait for some time.
The Ukrainian army stood up the 156th Infantry Brigade in the spring of 2024. Not long after, the unit converted into a mechanized brigade with additional armored vehicles. Now, the 156th Mechanized Brigade is one of the growing number of Ukrainian units rushing south to Donetsk Oblast to meet a mass of Russian troops and tanks poised to strike at the fortress city of Pokrovsk for what Ukrainian drone operator Kriegsforscher described as a last final battle, recalls Euromaidan press media outlet. Rather than give up on Pokrovsk, it doubled down and surged reinforcements around the city for what's shaping up to be a powerful tank-led offensive. Pokrovsk's fall would open the path to Ukraine's last major defensive positions in Donetsk, potentially forcing a strategic withdrawal that could reshape the entire Eastern Front. The coming clash will be bigger, bloodier than the infantry battles that were common around Pokrovsk earlier this year. Finnish analyst Joni Askola warned it will fall on newly arriving units such as the 156th Mechanized Brigade to hold off a much larger Russian force. The 156th Mechanized Brigade hit the road to Donetsk last month, according to Unit Observer. It joins the National Guard's 1st Azov Corps and adjacent units that rushed toward Pokrovsk in early August to block and then roll back that Russian infantry incursion that briefly threatened one of the two remaining main supply lines into Pokrovsk. Expect the 156th Mechanized Brigade to dig in and prepare for tank attacks. The older Ukrainian brigades around Pokrovsk are skilled tank killers, but the 156th Mechanized Brigade's relatively green troopers should be able to pick up the standard tactics fairly quickly. Euromaidan Press says, in the 43 months since Russia widened its war on Ukraine, Ukrainian forces have destroyed, damaged, or captured around 4,100 Russian tanks. That's more tanks than Russian regiments had in frontline service before the wider war. They took out these tanks with mines, artillery, anti-tank missiles, and, perhaps most importantly, explosive first-person view drones and grenade-dropping bomber drones. The Russians are betting that tank-led assaults can help them with the battle for Pokrovsk. The Ukrainians are betting they can blow up the tanks in the usual way. If the Russians can't break through the reinforced Ukrainian defenses around Pokrovsk in the coming months, they might not get another chance anytime soon, at least not with tanks. Euromaidan Press says, Russia's Uralvagon Zavod tank factory is building new T-90Ms, but it's unclear how many. The factory's output may have collapsed this year. Meanwhile, the Kremlin's vehicle storage bases, once brimming with Cold War leftovers, are now mostly empty of usable vehicles. The defense forces of Ukraine blocked the advance of the occupation army of the aggressor country, Russia, and cleared out certain areas where the enemy could gain a foothold in the city of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. The commander of the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems, Achilles, Yuri Fedorenko, reported this on air at Espresso. According to him, Ukrainian combat units continue to carry out tasks in the Kharkiv region. After the enemy managed to infiltrate certain places in Kupiansk, the Ukrainian military blocked the Russians. Also, on the northwestern outskirts of the city, places where the occupiers are actively trying to cross from the left to the right bank are under the fire control of the Ukrainian armed forces. Their crossing looks like a stretched rope across the river. It is not a standard pontoon crossing. However, boats and rafts give the enemy the opportunity to carry out tasks to deliver manpower, albeit with difficulty. The military man explained, despite the complicated situation in the Kharkiv region, the Russian command does not stop giving orders for an assault. In particular, very heavy and tough battles continued near the settlement of Melove. The enemy crossed the state border line just south of the settlement Melove. As a result, the Ukrainian defense forces met the enemy with a fight, and therefore the enemy was unable to break through the border for any significant distance, Fedorenko assured. After this, the invaders fled and tried to reach the Russian border. Ukrainian troops advanced forward in the Kupiansk direction as a result of successful counter-offensive actions on the northern and western outskirts of Kupiansk. In the city of Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, more than 95% of buildings have been destroyed or damaged, and it is impossible to deliver humanitarian aid there due to Russian drone activity. The head of the Kupiansk City Military Administration, Andriy Besedin, said this during a broadcast on Hromadsky radio. Unfortunately, nothing has changed. The situation is critical. The proximity of the enemy, the use of various weapons and FPVs that are essentially waiting on all logistical routes and access roads to the city do not allow us not only to fully carry out evacuation measures, but also to deliver humanitarian aid or repair any critical infrastructure networks. Guided aerial bombs which destroy the city every day. And today, unfortunately, more than 95% of the city is destroyed or damaged. The most important and most terrifying thing is that people die and are injured every day, the official said. According to him, the enemy dropped 4 guided aerial bombs tab on Kupiansk over the past day, and in total, more than 1,100 strikes have already been carried out on the settlements of the Kupiansk community in September alone, including 36 guided aerial bombs, 2 of which weighed 1.5 tons. The only thing that can save lives is evacuation, Besedin stressed.